everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is my very first video, and if you can't tell, I am very nervous / excited. So although this channel will be a story time channel for children, this first video, this one is for you, moms and dads, and aunties and uncles and grandmas and grandpas and teachers and nannies and anyone who takes care of children. Trust me, I know how important it is to get to know every person who might have an influence on your children. As a mama bear, I understand. So this is my way of telling you who I am. So, who am I? Well, let's see. I'm Miss Jocelyn. I'm a mom. I am a preschool teacher. I've worked with all ages, but for the past 10 years or so, I've worked almost exclusively with 2-year-olds. I'm an aspiring voice actor. I'm a travel enthusiast. I'm a music lover, but most importantly, I am an avid book reader. So why am I doing this? Well, I'm glad you asked. Here are my top 3 reasons for starting Miss Jocelyn Reads. So when I was around 7 or 8, my mom walked into our house and handed me a present. That's right, Gen X. I know y'all remember this one. Say it with me now. We must increase our butt. Oh my God, that's classic. Y'all, I was hooked. Before then, I only read if I had to. But that night, and for the next several nights, my mom and I sat in my room and we read, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, together. And let me tell you, it changed my life. As soon as we got to the last page, I flipped back to the beginning and started reading it all over again. And then I begged my mom to buy me more. And she did. I think the next one I read was Blubber. And then there was Super Fudge, otherwise known as Sheila the Great. And one of my favorites was starring Sally J. Freeman as herself. If you can't tell, Judy Blume was my jam. I read every one of her books. And then I moved on to other series like Sweet Valley Twins, Sweet Valley High, all of those cheesy Sweet Dreams romance novels. I was hooked on those, y'all. I read like 3 of those in a day. Goosebumps, Babysitter's Club, Christopher Pike, V.C. Andrews, just to name a few. From that point on, I always had my head in a book. I read so much that my parents and my teachers would have to make me put the pleasure books, that's what my mom called them, pleasure books. They'd have to make me put them down just to make me do my schoolwork. I remember both my mom and dad talking about how hard it was to do that. Like, how do we tell our book-loving child to stop reading? No, don't read this book, read this book. I know I gave you guys a hard time, but think about it this way, Mom and Dad. It could be worse. Long story short, I'm doing this because I want to pass on that love of reading to younger generations. I want children to know what it feels like to get lost in a story, to use their imaginations, to feel alive as they meet new characters and have cool new adventures. I want to give unknown, indie, and self-published authors a new platform to share their stories on. Now, I'm not saying I won't ever read a Dr. Seuss book or The 3 Little Pigs. I mean, who doesn't love the classics, right? But let's say you were to type in The Little Red Hen in the YouTube search bar. Well, you'd get hundreds of readings of that story. And while we all love that story, I want to share new stories. The world is full of diverse and interesting and talented people who have wonderful tales to tell. And I want to help them get those tales out into the multiverse. If I can help an unknown author market their book, and then that book one day becomes known as a classic, that would make me so happy. You have a voice, and I want the world to hear it. Lastly, and most importantly, I want to keep reading to my children long after they leave my classroom. Out of all my responsibilities as an early childhood educator, my favorite thing to do at the end of the day is to sit down and read a story to my sweet babies. I love introducing them to new characters and making them laugh with my silly voices. I love taking a story and making it unique and interactive for the children to read along with me. I've been a teacher for 20 plus years or so, and while I can no longer remember where I left my phone or my keys, oddly enough, I've never forgotten a child that I've ever read to. And I hope that this channel will help keep me connected to all of the families and the kiddos and the friends that I've met along the way, as well as help me to make new friends. And that's it. That's who I am. And that's why this channel is so important to me. So, at long last, my very first story will premiere next Saturday on September 6th. Now, because my September theme is back to school, obviously, all of the featured stories will be about going, you guessed it, back to school, or starting in a new classroom, or going somewhere new and unfamiliar, or making new friends. And the first story is titled Matilda May Wears Confidence, and it was written by Susan Howard. Y'all, I am so excited to share this wonderful book with you, all of you. So check below for all of my social media handles, and please, please, please like, subscribe, comment, follow, and share. This is my first video, and I'm hoping someone will watch it. I'm so happy that you guys are here, and hopefully I'll see you next week on Miss Jocelyn Reads.